increasing the odds that Windows network sharing will actually work. Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com. Here's the question I got. I have 3 computers on my home network, one running Win 11 and the other 2 running Windows 10. Although the Windows 11 computer is visible to all computers and is entirely shared to everyone with all permissions, the Win 10 computers are not able to access files on the Windows 11 computer. I tried turning off the firewall, but this did not make a difference. Any thoughts? Yes, I have thoughts. Windows networking is a mess. I've talked about it before. It is another one of those technologies that, while it's wonderful when it works, it can be very, very tricky and persnickety to actually get it to that point. Now, over the years, I have developed a set of things that I do when I set up my Windows network here at home that I'm not going to say make it work. What I'm going to say instead is these steps combined increase the odds that it will work. I can't guarantee it because networking is that messed up, but let's see if we can't tilt the odds in your favor. The very first thing that I do, and I actually do this when I set up machines, I go to, in this case, System, and in Domain or Workgroup, I make sure that all of my computers are on the same workgroup. Now, in my case, I like to have a different work group because that reduces the odds of somebody coming in and being able to connect. I know it's not great security, but it's just another inconvenience for somebody trying to get connected who wants to maybe not necessarily see my machines, but still use my network. It's just something I've been doing probably for decades now. If you do nothing, there's a very good chance that you already have this problem solved because I believe the default work group for Windows is a work group called workgroup. So check that. Make sure that all of your computers are on the same work group. Next, you got to make sure that network discovery is even turned on. This is the part of networking that allows you to see and share with other machines. In the Settings app, search for Sharing, and when it shows up, click on Managed Advanced Sharing Settings. This has a couple of things that you might want to play around with. Depending on your version of Windows, you may find these in a slightly different place, but in this case, I'm then also in Advanced Network Sharing going to click on Advanced Sharing Settings. There, make sure that Network Discovery is turned on. Setting up connected network devices automatically, that's totally up to you. Basically, it'll make connecting to a printer on your network a little bit easier. File and printer sharing, turn that on. And that's it here. We've basically turned on network discovery and we've turned on file and printer sharing. Next, we're going to search for Profile. Then in Ethernet Settings, we want to make sure we are on a private network. To me, this has always felt kind of backwards, but this is what it boils down to. On a private network, Windows will make fewer assumptions about malicious activity on the network. It will allow more things to connect, and file sharing is one of those things. Public is what you want to use when you are out in public. If you take your laptop to an open Wi-Fi hotspot or something like that, you want the network to be considered public because you don't know what's on it. The public is on it. Whereas if it's a private network, you know what's on it because it is your private network and you can relax just a little bit. So make sure you've got private network selected. Now, the next one is, I don't know, this almost feels like the kind of a thing that shouldn't work or shouldn't be necessary, but it has worked for me for so long that I keep doing it. I will set up an additional account. In this case, we're actually in that account. That is exactly the same on all of my machines. So in this case, I have an account, a local machine account that's named Leon with the same password on every one of my machines. When that happens, my understanding is that some forms of Windows networking can either avoid asking you for a password or can not ask you for a connection password as often. So I find this to be very, very helpful. to make those connections. Even if you only have to add or enter a password once, you enter the username and password for this account and you're connected. Now, basically, we have stacked the deck. Everything is here that should, in theory, make things work. So the next thing to do is, well, actually share something. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click on my D drive and click on Show More Options, and then click on Give Access To, and you'll notice it's the only option here is Advanced Sharing. Now, I already have this shared as D. If we want to change that, well, that's what the advanced settings is all about. We can rename that share to be something else. We can change the permissions. Now, in my case, I have set the permissions for everyone to be full control. Very, very not secure if you don't trust other machines on the network. But if you do, as I do, then this tends to make life easier. Even if you expect there to be issues with security on your network, if you have the opportunity, I actually suggest you start this way, because this way you can at least remove this barrier from potential connection problems. That way, once you've got things working, once you can see and transfer files and so forth, then you can come back here and understand exactly maybe which accounts you want to give access to or how you want to control read-write access and so forth. But as a starting point, this is probably the way to go, just to remove yet another possible interruption. And ultimately, once we've done that, we are now sharing this. So how do we know? Okay, the first thing I want you to do is take a look at what's in this drive, this folder that we've shared. And yep, there's a bunch of files. I'm actually not going to care what those files are right now. It's just that there's something on this drive or in this folder that we've shared. Now, we're going to go to a different machine. This is a different Windows machine. In fact, it's a Windows Home machine, for if that makes any difference. The other machine is one of my Windows 11 Pro machines. This is Windows 11 Home. So I've got Windows File Explorer open, and you can see that this has a D drive, but it's not my faux USB drive. It's something else completely. However, there's the network icon that you've probably been looking at for a very long time. I'm going to expand it. And what you'll notice is that it lists a number of machines. These are Windows machines currently running that are in the same work group, my Notenboom work group. Now, if I expand Noten VM Win11P02, which is the machine we were working on, you'll see that there's a D there. If I click on that, all of a sudden, we've got the contents of that remote D drive. Now, it's just another folder you can operate on within Windows File Explorer. If I want to copy some files, I'm going to open another Windows File Explorer instance and go to, I don't know, how about Documents? That's a fine empty folder. So if I want to copy something from the remote machine to the local machine, all I really need to do is drag and drop. And boom, it's copied. That copied across the network using network file sharing. And the same is true the other way. If I want to copy something in the other direction, again, drag and drop. Networking is huge. Don't get me wrong. There's a number of different ways to use it, a number of different ways to make these connections happen automatically, do the connections in the command prompt, and so forth. But fundamentally, with those steps that we started with, we've stacked the deck in our favor. And hopefully now Windows networking will work for you as well. For updates, for comments, for a little bit more detail, and for links related to this topic, visit askleo.com/167701. I'm Leo Notenboom, and this is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.